Hey there, my name is Ranzu and welcome to my channel. So I had to close my business down late last year because of my health issues, and I am currently working on relaunching my business. So I've been working on some new products. I've been just doing a review of my business over the past couple of months, trying to figure out what I've done right and what I've done wrong over the past couple of years of my business being operational. So in this video, I'll be sharing a couple of things that I wish I did sooner in my business that I know would have helped me be more successful and more profitable. So one thing I wish I did, I wish I knew my target audience sooner. I wish I knew my target customer sooner. I wish I knew sooner when I was starting my business, actually, like before I made. So my business has always been me making clothes. I wish before I started making anything from the get-go, I wish I knew who I wanted to sell to, who I wanted to make clothes for, because not everybody likes the same things. I think I assumed that because I'm making clothes, everybody wears clothes, every woman likes a dress most likely, therefore they're gonna buy my dresses, they're gonna buy the stuff I'm making. I failed to look at the fact that people have different tastes in clothing. They like different they have different aesthetics. So my stuff is predominantly, brightly colored prints and all that. Not everybody likes that. No, that's not everybody's style. So if I had taken the time to understand who are the people that will like my stuff, where are those people currently shopping, because they're not my customer at the current moment, they're shopping somewhere. Where are they shopping? So I can understand what kind of stuff they like, what kind of things they buy, what kind of questions they are asking, the existing businesses within that market, or within that niche, or yeah, existing businesses that are making that kind of clothing, right? What kind of questions are these customers asking? What kind of complaints do they have? What kind of stuff do they seem to be, what kind of content are they responding well to? You know what I mean? So I think if I knew my target customer, if I took the time to do proper research, and if I knew how to do proper research at that time, I do feel like I would have stood a better chance at succeeding way sooner in business. I would have been able to get the consistent sales that I started getting in 2022, I would have gotten in 2019 when I started the business. Mistake, or rather the second thing that I wish I knew when I started my business, I wish I knew sooner in business, is knowing more than just how much I needed to start the business, knowing how much I needed to run the business. We never actually think about this, but like, you need to know how much you need on a month-to-month basis. You may not have the exact figures, but like at least have an idea of what expenses are you gonna need to be covering every month. What expenses do you need to still cover in your business, because your business hasn't started making money, it hasn't started being profitable yet. So what expenses do you need to cover? It also helps you to price your products correctly, because you're pricing to be able to be profitable every month, to be able to be making enough money. You need to make enough money to cover your expenses at least, so I was pricing based on what it cost for me to make the product, and I think I also included some of the shipping cost and stuff in there, but I didn't consider, just because I was doing all the labor and I'm basically a solopreneur, I didn't include my cost of having me and my labor. You know what I mean? I didn't include that as a cost in the business, and I didn't consider that I would need to pay myself, right? Because I thought, oh, I know in the beginning I won't pay myself because the business still needs to grow, blah blah blah. Yes, you won't pay yourself, but you don't have to operate at like a complete loss, for no reason. There are businesses that do take time to be profitable, but I think certain businesses, especially businesses like mine, where I have so much control over the pricing, I really could have at least included the labor cost. And also another thing, when it comes to the finances of a business and comes to pricing and all those things, it's a bad idea to not include your pay when pricing, to not include, because it's a labor cost. What will happen once your business grows and you're getting more orders, you need to hire additional help? How are you going to, where are you going to get the money to pay that other person? You know what I mean? If you can't pay yourself. So that is something that I wish I did, which is something I'm doing now going forward, is making sure that I'm pricing correctly, making sure that I did start pricing correctly at some point, like when I started making sales, because I started to see that, wait, I'm making sales but I don't have enough money to cover my expenses. Doesn't make sense, right? And I'm making sales and my sales are like a lot, yet like according to this math I should be having a little bit left over to cover my Shopify, whatever apps I'm subscribed to, and any other little expenses I had. And I should be able to give myself a little something. It doesn't have to be much, it can be 1,000 rand. But if I can't give myself 1,000 rand, come on, something is wrong. I also wish that at the time, so I registered my business 2 or 3 years before I actually started the business, right? I registered my business as the minute when I decided, like, okay, cool, this is the business I want to start, and I decided on a name and I registered the business. But what I didn't do was understand what registering a company actually entails. So I knew that I figured out, okay, I figured out how to register the business. I navigated the CIPC website and figured out how to do the actual company registration, but I didn't know that you have to do things to maintain that registered company. Once you registered a company, you're automatically registered with SARS, right? Your business automatically now has a tax number. So this tax number is separate from your personal tax number, right? Now, there are things that you need to maintain. You need to be maintaining the company details, filing annual returns with the CIPC, and you need to be filing taxes with SARS. So even if it's a dormant company, meaning that you registered the company but you are not currently operating anything, so like you're not yet selling or using that company, it's just registered, right? You still need to file, right, to basically report to SARS that, okay, this business is dormant, this company is dormant. Like, you still file with SARS and you must file annual returns. And mind you, when you're not filing annual returns with the CIPC, I was incurring penalty fees. So by the time I actually knew that, oh, I have to file, and I knew this like 2 or 3 years after I started the business. And mind you have to file annual returns every year by the anniversary date of your company registration, right? So by the time I did file, I had a lot of penalties to pay, and then I also had to pay for that current year's fees plus penalties. Yeah. And then with SARS as well, you're incurring penalties as you're not filing for tax. Whether you're making money or not, you're incurring penalties for non-compliance, right? For not filing. So those are things I didn't know well into like 2-3 years into my business. And that's because like 2019, 2020, there weren't as many people, honestly, in South Africa sharing business related stuff, sharing things about, company registration or maintaining your company, or where's
the actual business principles that we do need to learn. You know, knowing things like knowing your target customer, knowing you know, how to plan when you're starting your business, planning to launch your business, marketing, all those things are things that were not taught as much. And I wish I treated my business with the same level of discipline and consistency that I did corporate jobs. So over the past couple of years, like since I graduated, I had been working in corporate on and off, honestly, because yeah, there'd be times where I'm like, okay, I'm really gonna like give my business 100%, and then things would get tough and I'd go back to corporate. And then when I'm in corporate and I'd regret it and feel like, okay, now yes, I'm getting a salary, but I don't have time to work on my business, so then I'd quit. And then like it was just, yeah. Don't judge me, but that's just what it was at that time. And when I was in corporate, man, I showed up for my job. Even when I'd have health struggles and whatnot, my work was done, right? The only time I'd be off work is if the doctors like booked me off for real because I genuinely can't work. But with my business, it's just a little bit more chilled, a little bit more like, yeah, I don't have to answer to anyone. Nobody's gonna ask me where I am and whatnot. I'll show up, I'll respond to customer messages, I will pack an order if I get an order and whatnot. But if I'm feeling discouraged today, then not working on my business. If I'm feeling tired or I'm not feeling well, then I'm not working on my business. I'm not doing whatever work I'm supposed to be doing in my business or you know, for my business, right? And a lot of business owners do that, and especially business owners who, whether you're doing your business part-time or full-time, I do feel like we don't treat it with the same level of discipline, the same level of I don't know what word to use, but we don't show up for our businesses the way we would, or the way we do when we have a boss, which I think also holds you back as a business owner, because now your business does not progress. You may not see it now, but like when you look at it over time, you get to see that, oh, wait a minute, I thought I was working, I was busy. I'd get busy sometimes and then like slack off, get busy and slack off. And like those times when you're like, oh, I'm just resting, you don't see it as slacking off, but you wouldn't rest that much and in such an unnecessary way, in unnecessary times, as you do when you're running your business. You wouldn't rest like that if you had a boss to report to. When you have a job, you have a KPI, you have performance reviews and all that. We don't do those things for our businesses. We don't put certain systems in place and processes in place so that we know this is what needs to be done for this is what needs to be done, this is what I do, this is the process I follow if I'm going to make if I'm making new stock or if I'm making a new design. This is the process I follow for selecting fabrics. So I know that if I treated my business the same way, with the same diligence, the same consistency, the same discipline and organization as I did every or any corporate job that I had, my business would be much further than it was before I took my break, or before I sort of like closed it off end of last year, right? Even though I closed it because of health and whatnot, it wasn't exactly in the best state. It wasn't exactly at a place where I could say I'm proud of it, because I knew that there's just so much that I'm still not doing in my business. And I know that is the case for a lot of us. One of the most important things in business, one thing that can really make or break your business, is marketing. So having a proper marketing strategy for your business, having a proper sales strategy for your business. We don't have any of those things. We never consider any of those things as small business owners, because I don't know, maybe it's how we view our businesses, or maybe we just feel like it's just too much or the concept is too big for our business, but every business, big or small, needs a marketing strategy, and that means you need to actually take the time to understand marketing for your specific type of business. And that is something I feel I didn't properly do. I may have taken the effort to understand marketing and to understand how to generate sales in my business, but I feel like I didn't do it to the level that I was supposed to, or to the level that I expect of myself. The amount of knowledge and understanding that I had is not what I applied in my business. If I'm being honest, I think in terms of marketing for my business, I did the bare minimum. Even where I would actually sit down and draft a marketing strategy or plan to launch a product or to market a certain product or to sell a certain product. I didn't follow the plan. I would see someone doing something and I'm like, oh, let me quickly try that. You see someone, you hop on trends, you're hopping on this, you see someone else doing that and you want to execute a different idea, or you start criticizing the plan that you currently have. That is what I was doing a lot of. And that really, because if I was, for instance, launching a new collection or launching a new piece or whatever, I had a plan of like, okay, cool, this is when I'm going to start promoting this thing. This is the type of content, these are the type of emails etc that I want to send out, this is what I want to do, this is what I'm going to do on the day I'm launching this thing, and whatnot, like, you know what I mean. But then when it came to actually executing, I did such a poor job. Not because I wasn't able, it had nothing to do with finances or anything, because I always tailor any strategy or any plan according to what I'm able to afford at that particular time, right? Because having a marketing strategy doesn't mean you need to have like a lot of money and whatnot. You can have a marketing strategy without any paid without any paid forms of marketing, like meaning without any paid ads, right? Without paying for ads, or without influencers or whatever. And if you do use influencers, maybe you can work with them on a gifted basis, whatever. But like, the point is, you can have a marketing strategy, a plan, without spending a lot of money. So it was never a matter of, okay, money is a problem or whatever. That was never the problem, because I tailored the plan always to my budget. But execution, I didn't execute as well. And I think as much as I learned the concept of marketing and understood, like, okay, cool, this is what marketing is, this is what a marketing strategy is, and this is how you do it, and I did it, I didn't properly learn how to execute it, I think. And that is something that I spent my little break excuse me, I spent my little break doing that and saying, okay, cool, this is something that was a problem area for me before. It's one of the mistakes I made. It's one of the things that I really wish I had gotten right for all those other years that my business was operating. So this is something I want to get right from the moment I relaunch going forward. And then I also wish that I collected reviews. Man, I like, sometimes I would collect reviews. I had a reviews app connected to my website, but I never actually checked if the email, so like it's set up so that it's supposed to send the email a few days after the order is fulfilled, right? So I'll normally fulfill my order. So I use Shopify for my website, so I'll normally fulfill the order once I know that I've sent it out. Once it's been collected, then I'm like, okay, cool, it's fulfilled. Because from there on, then I knew that I'm just dealing with the courier and whatnot, but like, the order's out. So once the order is fulfilled, a few days later, the reviews app or whatever thing, they were supposed to send out an email to the customer requesting a review. I wouldn't really check much if the email was going out, if I was getting reviews. I'd get 1 or 2 reviews and whatnot. Some reviews I'd get because like the customer would maybe have my WhatsApp number, and then the WhatsApp, hey, I got my order, blah blah blah, or they'd send a DM and whatnot. So then I'd always transfer whatever review they left, whatever feedback they gave me, I transfer it onto the reviews app and like link it to that particular order, right? But I honestly didn't make as much effort to ask for reviews, like actively ask for reviews. You're supposed to do that, because the more reviews you have on your products, on your website, on your social media, and all that, the more other customers trust you. So those few reviews that I did collect, that I did get, I would post those. I would post customer messages to me. I would post DMs and whatnot of customers saying, you know, how they felt about their order, the fact that they received the order and all that. And then I would actually get orders from posting the reviews, right? Because there are people who are watching and waiting to place an order, but they feel like, oh, they're not sure if they can trust you. They're not sure if what you have posted is actually what you send out. Because, you know, especially in the hair industry, people do that. Even with clothes, right? People will like post certain clothing items, but then when you get the clothes, the quality is not what it looked like on the, you know, on your pictures, on your content and stuff. So them seeing someone else say, oh my gosh, the quality is amazing, the fabric is amazing, I love the packaging, I love this, I love my dress, it fits perfectly, blah blah blah. Them saying, oh, I love how you communicated with me throughout the process, etc etc, they can feel more at ease, and then be like, oh, okay, there are people here, real people who've actually received their orders. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so it's not only about collecting those reviews on the website, like even the reviews through WhatsApp, through DMs and all that, comments and whatnot. Those are also really important. Like, it builds trust with your audience, it builds trust with prospective customers who are interested in your products, but maybe they're still afraid, maybe they're not sure if, you know, they should go and purchase the thing. So for me, the reviews helped. The few that I got helped. So I can just imagine if I had more reviews to show, then maybe that would have also played a part in increasing the number of sales I got. So that was a huge blunder on my part, and I missed out a lot because of that, because I didn't prioritize that. So if you're not prioritizing it, then I suggest you start prioritizing it now. Ask people for a review. Like, ask them, hey, so for me, I also put it on my thank you card, the thank you card that I put in every order. I've written it there, like, let us know how you like feel about your order and stuff. But like, also, if you have the customer's email, send them an email. Hey, I'd like to know how you feel about your dress, blah 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 blah. Let them respond and tell you how they feel about it, so that you have that, you know. Take screenshots, save those screenshots. If you wanna make it more aesthetic, you can put them on, like, use Canva to put them on like a post or something. So yeah, make the effort to get feedback on your products, so that you are able to show prospective customers that you can trust me, you can trust my products, you know. But all in all, the biggest thing that I wish I did from the moment I started my business, from the moment I started doing research for my business, from the moment I started learning things, I wish I applied everything that I learned. There's so much that I learned that I should have applied in my business, from the marketing, from content creation, from just the back end of my business. There's so much that I did learn, I did take courses for, I did take the time to search on YouTube, watch videos, all those things. I did buy ebooks, but I didn't actually apply everything. I'd say from the things I learned, like 60-70% of the stuff I learned I did not apply, or I didn't apply properly. I always treated my business like, you know, I'm in a rush, like I'm in a rush to release a product, I'm in a rush to release this content and whatnot. I didn't take the time to do things properly, and that is something I'm doing different this time around with my business. So I hope that you will be along to see along for the journey as I rebuild my business, as I restart and rebuild my business. You may not have a similar business to mine, you may not be selling a similar product to mine, but an online product business is an online product business. It's not about the product you sell. The principles are usually the same. There may be slight differences, but that's usually in like the type of content or the type of marketing that you do. But other than that, the business principles and everything else, or everything, is pretty much the same. Like what you can apply to a beauty business, a makeup business, a hair business, is the same as what you can apply to a clothing business. So let me know in the comments, if you have a business, what of the things that I or the mistakes or the things that I wish that I did, which one did you resonate the most with, and what mistakes have you been making in your business that you are making the commitment to start doing better in going forward? Because you know, it's kind of pointless for us to spend our time watching videos, enrolling in courses and all those things, but we never actually make a change in our businesses. We never actually sit down to say, okay, what am I doing wrong in my business, or what am I not doing the right way in my business that could improve my business, that could take my business to the next level. So yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed watching this video. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure that you subscribe if you are a small business owner and you want to learn more about starting and running an online business in South Africa. I will be sharing my personal journey more on the channel, and also just giving as much value as I have been, or more, right? I feel like if me sharing my personal journey as well will help me to provide more value. So I really hope that you will follow along, and you know, we'll have a nice little community over here. Okay guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.